thing. So you have to contend with your own soul. And that has a structure, that soul. And that's partly what the psychoanalysts laid out. And I think Jung did that most effectively. If you want to establish values in the face of the death of the past, which is something that's happened many times, not merely in the late 19th century, you have to look inside and discover what those values are. And that is truly a process of discovery. Like, to find out what's meaningful in your life is to take yourself seriously as a mystery. It's like there is something that will grip you. And it might not even be what you choose. In fact, sometimes it's not what you know, now and then you fall in love with the wrong person. You go home and you tear your hair out. It's like, what the hell's wrong with me? How can I do this? It's like, well, you're pulled by forces that are beyond your control. They're deeply enmeshed inside you. You have to discover who you are. And you do that partly in university, you do that partly with literature, and you do that partly with dreams and visions and all of the acts of the imagination. And you negotiate with yourself to find out where are the values, where is firm ground for me, and how can I launch myself forward. And that is an archaeological expedition, because you are excavating the values of the past, even if you're doing that psychologically. Now, hopefully, if you're in a great university, you do that in tandem with excavating the values of the past intellectually. And so then there's a dance between your own soul, your own imaginative soul, and the manifestations of the soul across time. It speeds your development along, but it's still a matter of discovering what it means to be human. And that's not something that's simply invented. It's not that at all. You only believe that if you want to remake men and women in the image of your ideology. It's like you're something you have to contend with. Just like if you have a partner, a romantic partner, it's like they're there. You have to contend with them. You have to negotiate a solution. You have to jointly establish your values on some real basis, and you have to do the same thing with yourself. And the idea will be, and I believe this to be true, is that when you discover what your values are, you'll find an affinity between those values and the great ideas of the past. Because why wouldn't you? They were also produced by human beings who were struggling. And then you get a concordance between your soul and the past. And then you've started to become who you actually are. You know, you've reinvigorated the dead father and incorporated it. And that makes you who you could be. And that makes you able to live. And that's a good replacement. Well, it's not even a replacement. It's a rediscovery of the original doctrine. And so we can't let this go. Because the alternative is a nihilism that turns into something catastrophic, or an ideology that's a weak replacement. It's still a religion. It's just an unbelievably shallow and unidimensional religion with none of the grandeur, none of the transcendence, none of the mystery, none of the beauty, none of that. It's just stripped bare, fragmentary religion that you can understand in a week and then convince yourself of the superiority of your arrogant intellect. It's not helpful. So, the Jungian critique, Freud as well. No, you can't create your own values. You have to discover who you are. And you do that painfully because you're not your own puppet. You have a nature. And you have to act in accordance with that. And so, well, so that's your destiny if you choose to accept it. Mission impossible. Yeah.